We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl!
But starting out here, Strictly Ball Business, episode 56. This is the Francisco Elson episode. We're talking about what should an aging Milwaukee Bucks team do in the next few seasons. Say the next, 3 to 5 seasons. What's the blueprint? What do you think?
Yeah, so it's tough because the situation they're in, it's certainly not future. It's not the best. They're the championship favorites. I really like them. I think they're going to be great. I don't think there's anything to take away from this team. I don't know what you would add to it. I think they can go straight into the playoffs. From what we've seen, then go straight into the playoffs, not having to make a major trade or anything. But Giannis, he's only 27. He's got, I feel like he's got a good 6 or 7 years while he's still in his prime. I still think he can play past that. 6, 7 years, I think he can play at 33, 34. He's a very athletic guy. Not saying he's going to be bad, but that's his prime will last. The only other guys that are notably young are Grayson Allen, who's 26, and Portis, who's 27. Neither of those two are budding stars or anything. They're decent pieces, good pieces. Don't get me wrong, but everyone else on the roster is 30 plus, and they valuable guys. Middleton's 31, Drew's 32, Ibaka's 33, Lopez 34, Matthews and Ingles 35. All of them key pieces to what they do. They're gonna get old, in 3 or 4 years. They're proud, and some of them might retire. Especially in 4 years. I don't think Drew probably still be in the league. I just don't know if he's going to be at the level he's playing at now. Well, I still profess we have yet to see him really decline. He's still
Drew is still, arguably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. And I don't see that going away anytime soon, as long as he doesn't lose his agility and his step. And I don't really see that happening in the next couple years. So I see this team still being a perennial championship contender with this core for at least 3 or 4 seasons. And I think after that, you're maybe hoping that some of the moves you made on the margin beforehand gave you an opportunity to find someone else, maybe make a big trade for a new star. I think that would make sense. And you never know who's going to become available. Donovan Mitchell got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. Who knows who could get traded to Milwaukee in a few years, just based on who would become available.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And you got they had the 21st pick too, by the way. I'm not even going to try to say his name. But Beauchamp.
Oh, I think it's Beauchamp.
Beauchamp, he's 21, 24th pick in this first round. We'll see what he does. He really doesn't. He hasn't even played preseason yet. So, but it does worry me because you look at teams like the 76ers, the Raptors, and Celtics. They have their stars, but then they have young guys like the 76ers, Maxey. Embiid is young still, and they got Thibault. The Raptors have their slew of forwards. Celtics, obviously, Jaylen Brown and Tatum. They're good now, and they're going to continue to be good because they have all those young stars. You just look at the Bucks roster, and they've got all these older guys. So it's a little what are they going to do? Because they're all typically, and there's 2 things to do when you're in I called it the Blazers zone, when you're just stuck in a purgatory, which they're not. They can still go out and win. I'm not saying they blow it up anywhere near, but I'm saying in 3 or 4 years, what will they have?
I think they're still going to be, fantastic in 3 or 4 years with the guys that they have. And I think they could easily find a new opportunity with somebody younger. The thing is, there's a lot of old rosters in the East. The Miami Heat are old. Yeah. The Brooklyn Nets are old. The Philadelphia 76ers are pretty old too. Joel Embiid's young, but he's got injury history. And I would say I trust Giannis more in a big game than I do Embiid. And I think realistically, Embiid's probably going to retire before Giannis. That's my gut feeling there. So I think that kind of makes it a wash there, because I think anytime the Bucks are going to be against the Sixers in that end, the Bucks should win out. I think they're the better team. And Harden's old. I think he's been declining, but it's going to be a big season for him to prove himself. And maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe Harden will look great again. but I just don't see them getting over the hump for the Bucks. And then, I mean, what other old teams are there? Like the Bulls are definitely a little old. They got DeMar DeRozan as their best player.
Yeah, DeMar's older, but Levine's still young. Ball's still young.
But they're going to be
Patrick
garbage
Williams.
without
Vooch and
DeMar
Hammer.
DeRozan.
Vooch is older. Vooch is 32, I think.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
But they weren't even good before DeMar DeRozan got there.
Yeah,
And
could make an argument they weren't really good anyway. I mean, they've dropped.
they were pretty
everything in
good.
the
They were
playoffs.
top 4 seed for a lot of the season.
No, they played well.
ended up
I
at
just
6.
like to gauge everything off the playoffs because once it got to the playoffs, they kind of got
Sure. No, that's fair, but you got to give him credit for a great regular
Yeah.
season. And Lonzo Ball might be out for this whole season. That worries me.
I don't know. I really like Lonzo, but oh my god! But
He said he hasn't even
another reason.
ran or jumped in since the last season.
Oh my god! Why would you even say that? Why would you even say that?
I know, it's like everybody heard that, they're like, "Oh, wow, so you're not even close to coming back."
Yeah, it's also an effort thing too. Like it's like even though he might not be allowed to, it's just like
If he physically can't do that, is what it sounds like.
Okay.
That's the
But that's another Bulls problem. But so this I do think they're gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna take on Drew Holiday's contract. I do think in a few years they're gonna be starting to talk about Middleton trades, and it's not just because I don't think Middleton's bad or anything like that. It's so right now, as of this season, the Milwaukee Bucks, the franchise, they're 26 million over the luxury tax, which means they're estimated to pay 69 million in luxury tax. Next year, as of right now, with the contracts they have on, they're gonna be just 5 million under the luxury tax. They're gonna be paying a ton, which is fine. Teams do that. You look at Golden State, they do it all the time. But they're also Golden State. This is the Milwaukee Bucks. They just make less because they're in Wisconsin. I don't know how long they can maintain that, and I think they're gonna start entertaining, one of those, taking Middleton and sending him out, trying to get a younger star, develop him next to Giannis. I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of. Like I'd like the idea of moving him to Golden State. Pick up Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman. I think that would be a decent package. Get some more young talent, fill in. However, this is 3 or 4 years down the road, and they might not even be a Golden State Warriors. Middleton might not even be that huge of a trade package in 3 or 4 years. We'll
I
see.
mean, a couple of years, you're not trading for guys like Kuminga at that
No.
point. You're trading for the guys who are younger and who come to the draft and they're their first or second season.
Yeah, I meant like the idea of like that type of trade that they're looking at, like a younger package that I can't think of one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what players are in college right now that are going to end up being those players in the NBA because that level of player, because we just don't know. I mean, we didn't know Tyrese Maxey would be this good in the NBA.
No.
We had an idea that he could be good, but I mean, so far he looks fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's that type of players where they're like gotta look to get a little younger, because I don't think they can keep up that for 4 years, paying all that millions. Granted, while they have Giannis, they should be doing anything they can. But doing that, I don't think is a terrible move. Honestly, I think past a certain point, they kind of not hope as in a bad way, but if Giannis does get sidelined for a year, I think I see that more of as blessing down the road, where they get the chance to make some trades, pull in some younger guys just to get that development out there but they're also not wasting Giannis's time. That's a big
I mean, I would never want Giannis to get injured. I don't think that would be really helpful to them because any year he's available, I think you're a championship contender.
Well, yeah,
So,
I'm not saying somebody's
Could screw you over for future seasons too.
True. Well, I'm not saying somebody sits outside of the locker room with a baseball bat and be like, "Give me those Greek knees, you son of a bitch. We got to save some money." Oh, no.
You're a psycho is what you are, son.
I'm just saying it worked out for the Warriors. They get to extend their run because they have younger guys. It wouldn't be the
But to
worst.
say it's
thing
worked
in
out for the
world.
Warriors isn't entirely true because we don't even know if they've hit on the top draft picks. So far, their best draft pick was a second rounder. Or no, he was practically a second rounder. He was the last pick of the first round.
Jordan Poole was a huge part of their
That's what I'm
finals
talking
run.
about. Yeah, he was the 30th pick in the draft. I'm pretty
No,
sure.
but he wouldn't have gotten the development he would have gotten if they weren't injured for 2 years. If they didn't have any of those, because he was the main point guard a lot of it when Steph Curry was out, and then he played next to Steph Curry. He wouldn't have had that development if the other players didn't get injured. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, it's very possible he's still developing into a great player either way. I mean, I don't know if him playing losing basketball was necessarily. I mean, obviously it helped his development, but I think he still could have become who he is because he was always around those coaches.
I'm not convinced. I do think there's a huge part in the NBA is like there could be guys who are really good, but they only play 5 minutes a game right now because they haven't had that one game that impresses a coach where they can get more minutes. I do think some players at a higher level can just play better.
I think that's probably like 5% of players are not being
utilized.
Being utilized enough. I mean, I think for the most part they're probably getting it right, but maybe it's higher. Maybe it's like more like 10%. But like that would be on coaching incompetence, and obviously there are some incompetent coaches in the league, so that does occur. But for the most part, I feel like they get it right on the talent.
Yeah, but I also get the feeling that if they do fall into that Blazers zone where if, say Middleton, I mean they're all older. They're like a lot of their huge pieces are older, and if they leave and Drew Holiday takes a step down where he's suddenly not that championship level third scoring option, and Middleton takes some steps down as it happens when you get older and you get stuck in the Blazers, you just can't get over that hump. I'm not convinced Giannis stays if they're stuck in that for a while. So that's the concern that has me like, what do you do? If you're, obviously look for a trade, but at that point you can't get a better trade for the guys if they're already declining. You're not going to get a better player for them.
I mean, yeah, if you get to a point where you're trading Middleton, I think you can get hopefully a decent young player back. But if you're trading Giannis, like it's a completely different scenario. Like it's just a rebuild at that point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like maybe they just, so somebody who's like doesn't have to be a young player in 3 or 4 years, just a younger who still has like 5 years left in their prime, like a Desmond Bane. I mean, he'll probably in 3 or 4 years he'll be like 27, 28. That'd be worth it. I mean, Bane, probably someone else for like Middleton, and maybe they just need that fit, and then there's obviously more guard offense open, so they want a guy like Desmond Bane who would fit perfectly next to Giannis. Maybe that's something they move into. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe in 3 years we'll do a Middleton trade video. But
yeah, we'll see.
What do you guys think? What are your guys' ideas? Do you think these Bucks are going to live forever? They're just going to play into their 40s at the rate they are? Comment below. Let us know. Did you guys like that video? I like that video. Just comment, like, and subscribe.